Sup everyone. Now, earlier today, because I missed yesterday, I said I was going to put up 2 videos. And the first one I did today was talking about sensory information as a trait or symptom characteristic of having autism. Because it's very common for people with autism to have sensory issues or sensory difficulties. And it kind of spans to a more broader thing than just like senses that make them feel uncomfortable, as I also explained in that video. And I said I would be kind of tweaking it, so there's a couple of videos based on that because it's a very broad area to discuss. In this case, I have decided that I'm going to do 3 separate videos. This one is one of them, and then 2 others at a later time, next day, that I do autism videos. Where in one of them, in this one I'm going to talk about sensory overload. Then in the next, I'll talk about hyposensitivity, so basically like the opposite, not reacting to senses too much or actively looking for sensory stimuli. And then in the third one, I'm going to talk about sensory information as in not external, internal. Like I think I mentioned hunger, as an example. So how you feel on the inside can also be overwhelming or cause unpredictable behavior or reactions in people with autism, depending on where they are on the spectrum, how they differ as an individual, and of various other factors, which some of them will come into play. So this one is going to be about overload, because that's the one that's most commonly talked about or most commonly recognized or known, which is when someone with autism, now this is going to be talking about specifically about external senses, so things you touch, things you smell, things you see. Now, if someone with autism has any sensory issue, it can be any one of the 5 senses, and it can be anything from loud noises to bright lights to certain fabrics. Some people with autism can't wear certain clothes because of the fabric that they're made out of, because of the sense of touch on their body. Some people, especially children with autism, depending on where they are on the spectrum as well, may have such a severe reaction to certain senses like touch and such, that they will refuse to change their clothes. They'll be very, very adamant about certain clothes that they wear. Now, I can be like that sometimes, and when I was a kid, the more I think about it, yeah, I was like that a lot, but again, depending on where they are on the spectrum and them as an individual, they can have very extreme reactions to these. And if you're someone with autism and you encounter a situation where a sense that you find uncomfortable comes into play, saying overload isn't enough. It's like you can go straight to a meltdown. Now, that's even if you're low functioning autism, so it doesn't portray itself as obviously in your behavior. Now, I am more of a low functioning autism. All my issues are more internal. I can kind of disguise myself, masking, which I've also discussed in another video. But even so, I still can have those reactions depending on what it is. Sometimes for me, certain smells. Now, I like smells just in general, but like if something stinks, and I mean, it doesn't have to reek, it doesn't have to be a really pungent odor, but if certain smells mix together. Now think if, you put the dishes in the sink and there's some tomato sauce on one dish, but there's also mayo on another dish, and the smell kind of mixes. In the sink then, if I go to wash anything up in the sink, or if I go to the sink to get something and there's that kind of combination, it will make me gag instantly. I will be doubled over, I can't stand it, I cannot take the bins out, things like that. I just can't. It's not that they're particularly bad, it's just something about that scent really frustrates me. Now, what happens if someone with autism comes across any one of the senses that, any kind of sensory information that they find hard to process? It doesn't just make them feel uncomfortable, it can make them feel nauseous, it can even cause physical pain and discomfort. And for me, most of mine come down to actually sound. Now, I love loud noises. I'm a massive metalhead. I love it. I hate it when it's quiet. If things are quiet, I start to feel anxious and frustrated. Now that's part of it. It's not just there being something like a sound. It can also happen because of an absence of a sense. So it's not just that there is one, it's having a lack of a sense. Now, if it's too quiet, I get frustrated, I can't stop thinking, and I feel like, you know, I just gotta get away. I gotta run. And that's the thing. A lot of the time, most people I know with autism, when they're confronted with these sensory overload situations, that's the main thing. They feel like they need to escape. They need to get out of the room, get out of the whatever situation they're in. They need to get away from it as far as possible. Now, me, that usually happens, like I said, sounds, when there's too many voices going at once. Now, I can talk to more than one person at a time, but if people are talking over each other too much, or back and forth, or if there's a stressful situation, say an argument is brewing, or there have been situations where I've been accused of doing something, and I hate being accused of doing something that I haven't done, because, well, it makes me feel like I've done something wrong even when I haven't done it, and usually those accusations are like assumptions that people make, and they're not even directly linked to something that's actively happened. It's hard to put into words. But say those situations. Now, if I try to defend myself when I try to explain things, I try to keep my voice calm. Part of that is because I don't want to cause an argument. I don't want the situation to become more stressed, say in school, around friends, amongst the teachers, lecturers and such, because these have happened. Anything from family to everyone else. Yeah, I'll keep I'll keep my voice calm, because I'm not just trying to keep myself calm, I want the whole situation to feel calm. Now, if I try to defend myself and I get cut off, and then my voice mixes with someone else's, or multiple voices mixes with each other, or people are arguing around me, very, very quickly, that sets me on edge. Yeah, the sound, it just gets mixed. I can't make out words anymore. It's like tunnel vision. It's like I'll start to feel teary. I'll start to feel really emotional. I'll get really overloaded. I'll be borderline breakdown. I'll start gritting my teeth, clasping my hands. That's the process I go through. And then I have to run away. Either I have to let it out, like argue back, I need to shout back, I need to do something, or I have to run away. I have to go somewhere else where I can be on my own, where I can calm down. And my process of calming down then is essentially having a minor freak out, all to myself without anyone watching me, until I can breathe again. That's how severe the reaction can be for someone with sensory issues. Now, for some people with autism, those sensory issues are incredibly heightened. You know, like I said, they're in cases with kids who will only wear certain things. Now, I'm okay with fabrics, mostly. I've said in my earlier video today, I hate socks. I don't know what it is. It's like the sense of something touching my feet. No shoes, good. Having shoes on without socks, not good. Having socks on, not good. But no shoes or socks, I'm good. Now, it's like something encompassing them. But anyway, I'm good with fabrics though. Leather, plaid, cotton, wool, whatever it is. As long as it's not itchy, then I'm alright with that. But I know plenty of people with autism who just can't stand with certain things. Like, even if you're wearing, say, a woolen hat and their issue is wool, they're like, no, please don't. It's like, even looking at the fabric, they know how much they're gonna hate it. And I think I also said in the previous video today that it's like with my younger brother, it was loud noises, gotta cover his ears. Now, external information, that's how it acts. It causes massive reactions, mass amounts of unpredictable behavior that can be dangerous to them and to other people. Anyway, now I think that's a good place to end for just talking about external sensory situations or issues, and like when it's too much of it and overloading it. But next, I'm gonna talk in the next video about basically an underreaction, so hyposensitivities, like when you're actively seeking sensory stimuli, because some people with autism do that as well. I'll get into that. But for now, this is where I'll end. If you like the content and you want to see more and you're interested in the next ones, then please follow, like, comment, questions, requests, you know, any thoughts you have, maybe share them in the comments, because that's what it's there for. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, repost the video if you're interested, and I'll see you next time. Till then, bye!